What is going on, guys? We're back. We're going to talk about Calamity Ops today. But before I start, in NA, your cats want long fish. So, don't know about the other regions, but NA want long fish. Let's see what our cat gives us. Blessed. Okay. So, what do we have to say about Calamity Ops? I'm kind of going to discuss what I feel should be done to it and what I would do to it. In order to improve it and make it a better system for everyone, top tier players included. The current Calamity system heavily penalizes you for not having T6 characters, having really good friends, and being just incredibly good at the game. And normally I wouldn't say that's an issue. However, very important resource is gated behind Calamity Ops, and that would be incandescent clusters. Incandescent clusters, we need 18 of them to max out a character. If you're in Overseer rank of Calamity Ops, you get 7 every 2 weeks, so you can get 14 a month from Calamity Ops if you're a top 100 player. Otherwise, Master 2 gets 6, Master 1 gets 5, and I think Expert gets 5 as well. But that starts creating a drastic difference. The top players are already the top players. They shouldn't be able to pull that far away in terms of just basic resource economy. So, first thing that I think should be done is the incandescent clusters and the exotic weapon infusion cores should be static across all ranks of Calamity Ops. So everyone should just get the 7 clusters, and I think it's 45 weapon infusion cores. They're paramount resources for building accounts. I think it's a little silly gating those just to the top 100 players. Now, but why? What incentive would there be then to rush Overseer and compete for it? Well, top players love cosmetic things, emblems, things like that. So I'd say we do a Overseer emblem that will be an animated emblem. You only have access to it for the following cycle after you were in Overseer. So that way it's, you'll know which people were finished in Overseer. And to kind of promote you to continue pushing it, obviously, that emblem is only active for the 2 weeks after. And then there should be a little counting tally. Every time you finish an Overseer, it gets a tick mark on your emblem, a 1, a 2, whatever, however they want to go about it. But you get a cool animated emblem and something to display how many times you have finished an Overseer. And then you still can do the Lumia leaves. Those can be adjusted based off the actual rank you finish. But I think more top players would rather have a really cool emblem to show off than gating important account resources behind the top 100. Another thing we can do to drastically improve Calamity, because it's clearly heavily focused towards speed. We get that. I mean, pretty much every week there's at least a runner roll. Shout out Neo Torrent, man. They crushed it. New Mecho. But point stands is every week you need a runner, not because you need that runner to clear the actual sections faster, but to do the traversal. And so how do we solve that? The timer should only be active during the zones where there's the enemies you have to kill. So the Calamity Ops is already divided up into zones. And what I mean by that, so like at this past Strike Nexus core, first zone is from the moment the enemies are spawned in, and then when that portal area happens, it's a traversal area. Traversal area is once you've cleared a zone, timer should stop. Multiplier decreasing should stop. Then you don't have to do this unstuck attack, the death attack, and I understand that like people like that for speedrunning, and that I get that. It's just I feel like it's a bit much, especially in a game mode that does have matchmaking. There's got to be another way, and so my proposal is you still have to kill everything in your zone as fast as possible. That's still you're still gonna have a timer while you're in the zones, but traversal areas just don't. The timer doesn't need to be running while you're traversing. It just flat out, and so that way you'll still have your top 100 players, and they'll still more than likely be the top 100 players who are currently them. But it just makes it a little bit more character open. You're not locked into, you're not required to have a Ningfei, an Umeko, a wolf. Right now, and if a character's not fast, then they're pretty much not wanted in Calamity Ops. Maru is an exception because it's a spread Calamity Ops. But I truly think that's kind of the best solution in terms of being able to, you know, eliminate any sort of cheese or this or that. And I do think the people who have figured out the different times to unstuck and the tech on that, I think that's awesome. That's what speedrunners do. I don't think that's what is healthy for the longevity of the game and the game mode. I think slaughter everything as fast as you can while you're in the zone. Once everything's dead, timer paused. Get to next zone, timer starts immediately. Slaughter, pause. Next zone starts. Slaughter, pause. Rinse and repeat until the strike is done. I think that'll also it'll be a bit tighter. You'll still have people hyper optimizing what to do in certain rooms. It'll just change the way that people are optimizing the strike and optimizing the runs. But I still think it'd be fun and creative. You still end up having people who run some pretty off the wall comps because, oh, well, running this character lets me clear this room 2 seconds faster. It's all about the hyper optimization, so you'll still have that, but it won't be as reliant on speed only characters. So I know this wasn't a crazy impactful video or a build guide, but it's just Calamity Ops stressed me out, especially this past rotation. I do believe I did get promoted out of Zone 1. It was a struggle, but so I'm not saying this as some player who doesn't finish an overseer and doesn't get through the promotions. I get through those. I still don't think it's good for the health of the game with the way clusters and exotic infusion cores and all that are gated behind the top 100 players in the game, on the server at least. So I think clusters and cores should be evenly distributed, same amount to everyone, no matter the rank they finish. Those are just important account building resources. You can make the Lumia leaves change based off the rank you finish, but add a cool emblem. Give us an animated emblem, something that we can actually show off in game, in chat, all of that. Because that would be, honestly, I'd have more urge to run Calamity Ops and actually keep pushing it as the week goes on and scores improve for an emblem that's animated and looks cool versus getting clusters. I do it out of necessity for the clusters, but I don't think that for the health of the game, I don't think that is the way to go. So if anyone else has any suggestions or ideas of what we can do to make Calamity Ops better, more fun, more accessible to all players for the resources, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, I know it wasn't a long one, but I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you have a great day, great week. Good luck on your runs. Good luck on your farming. New expanse goes well. Let me know if anyone wants to see a clear of either side on that. I'll happily record one and show you guys what I do for it. But otherwise, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.